Hey, how are y'all doing tonight? It's nice to see you. I figured we've got a handful more days before I'm back out with the band. We really should continue on with the album project. We are only on 2012 after all. We have to get ourselves up to 2020, and then I have to start sharing with you and digging deep into our studio process as we begin to release new music from the next album. I think we are pretty sure that rather than wait until this next album is finished, we are going to just start releasing songs, and I want to be able to dig into those songs with you all before we do that. So time's a wasting is the point. Now, I was really conflicted about tonight because I wanted, next up on our album project is an album called Daniel the Brave. It is one of my favorite albums, and it was uniquely recorded. And excited to share all of it, but I was conflicted because just the other night when we were playing with the band, we had a request from our favorite bartender up in Maine, Bobby Weir, wanted to hear the Daniel Brave album, and so we've played a lot of these songs, and I am acutely aware that many of you gatherers are with us every single night, and I don't want you to get bored with me. So I felt bad digging back into this album, but I didn't want to count that as our album project because I wanted to talk about the album with you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we made the album Daniel the Brave tonight, and I'm going to start, rather than play the album in order, I'm going to start with the 3 songs on the album we did not get to with the band the other night. And so how about I'll start with the song, and then we'll dig into the album together, okay? This one's called Thought Design. Remember, I told you one of the first songs I wrote. One of the first songs I ever shared, the first song I ever shared at my first open mic. I believe it was track 1 on my first album that I shared with you. It was a song called The Boy. Well, this was supposed to be this is the second chapter of that story, and it was written about a 72-year-old man. I shared with you another chapter I had written just the other day, a song called Plight of the Younger Man. And all 3 of those songs are supposed to be part of a series tracking a fella through life, right? So anyways, this one's called Thought Design. Turned 72 on a Tuesday morning. Woke up slowly and got out of bed. cup of joe. Walked out my front door where the boy, he saw me and he said, man, you must have paid your dues. And I was just wondering what I may have to lose. And if you could spare a moment of sentiment and generosity, I could dig on your wisdom, impart it on me. Well, I said, shared my dues is right, was a high price I would gladly pay twice. But if you want to know the colors underneath my old skin, I don't know where to begin. It's my thought design, it's my ever searching lines, it's my mysteries confined, it's my thought design. I saw this little girl on my way to the store. She was looking out the backseat window of the family car door. She was watching the ice as it froze to the pane from the wind and the driving rain. And she was mesmerized watching the crystals form. Like 5 minutes ago, as she explored the upholstery of the car door, I understood then the excitement she found in the world was the reason she'd soon grow from a girl. And I wanted to see through her eyes, I wanted to see my light bright in the skies. I wanted adventure and being alive. And as I stood there, I realized it's her thought design, it's her ever searching lines, it's her mysteries confined, it's her thought design. So we just released, in fact, this recording, and maybe you will have remembered this. So, okay, so we had just re-released View from the Root. And I'm going to try something here. Hold on, let me just see. I'm gonna try something here. I hope this works. For those of you that may be having a harder connection than usual, a harder time connecting with me than usual, hopefully this works. So we had re-released an album called View from the Root, and I had all these songs, these kind of acoustic songs that I really dug, that I had written, and I was dealing with this problem that I always have, and it's a good problem to have, but that I was writing too many songs than we could release. And at this point we had people managing us, and we had a booking agency working with us, and we were trying really, really hard to get out there. We were trying to define our sound, and we were a little bit, how do I say it? Maybe chasing after what, I guess, we were thinking in terms of, oh man, what should we be doing that's right, rather than figuring out the kind of art we wanted to make and just making it and letting it fly. We had released an album called Ragtop Angel, which was kind of this unexpected release for those of you that were watching the album projects. We were approached by this company that was doing online contests, and they ended up starting up a little record label and sending me around the country to write with different writers, and sending us to Los Angeles to work with amazing producers. And we came out with this album, and it won Album of the Year at the New England Music Awards. It was a really exciting time. Yet I still had all these songs that I was writing that I didn't have a home for. And so I wanted to come out with like an underground release. And at first I was like wondering whether or not I should just be acoustic guitar. There was this producer in New York City, a wonderful guy, a close friend to this day. His name was Tim Leitner. And when we needed some help mixing we were mixing View from the Root, we were introduced to Tim, and he did a wonderful job. And I approached Tim and I said, look, I got this group of songs that I want to put together, and I want it to feel real raw, like me, you know, and I know we're releasing this album, Ragtop Angel, and we've got fancy production happening and all that kind of thing, but I just want to do something simple. And he said, okay, you know. And then I started working on this with Tim. And then I decided, you know what, let's bring the band in and let's just find a different approach to recording. So what we did was I started working with Tim in New York City. I would take the Chinatown bus for $10 from Boston, Massachusetts, in Chinatown to Chinatown in New York City. And I would walk to Tim's recording studio, and we recorded a lot of these songs with just me and a guitar, which is backwards, which is different than a lot of our recording process. Usually, and we've talked about this too, usually you build a song like you build a building. You start with the foundation, right? The frame, and then you fill it in. And so usually when we're in the studio, I'll record very quickly. I'll play through a song. We'll record what's called a scratch vocals and guitar. And it won't be a final take at all, but it'll be something that the drums and bass can play to. And then we'll lay down the drums, and we'll get that foundation and the frame of the building frame of the song, and then I'll come back and I'll record the guitar and I'll record the vocals. And that's the process we're using right now as we're recording. And it's a really cool, and fun process that I'm excited to explain more to you and take you with us on that journey with some of these songs, right? But with this album, what we did was we started with the guitar and the vocals. And we would have the band kind of fill in. We were going to say, no. With this album, really, the frame and the foundation of the building is this acoustic guitar and these vocals. And let's just see where the drums and the bass and the keyboards and the percussion and all the things that we're going to add, let's add them around this core. And that was the general approach. We did some stuff live. But it was great. And to record, and this was a very different band at the time. This was actually none of the band members that are playing with me today were playing with me when we recorded this album, Daniel the Brave. But for some of you who've been listening for a little while, you'll know some of these names. Turtle was playing hand percussion. Josh Gold was playing keyboards. We had a guy named John Chapman playing drums. He had played drums on Ragtop Angel. He was our drummer for a number of years. Great drummer. Really funny, fun guy to hang with. And bassist, Robin Vincent Soper. Great bassist. He played and toured with me for 6 or 7 years. It was great band. And Tim, the producer, had this house up on a mountainside. In Kerhonkson, New York, which is in the Catskills. And it was this cool, quirky, old little house in the middle of the trees on the side of a mountain. And we all went there for like a week. And we just recorded. We just hung and recorded. And at the end of that week, we had Daniel the Brave. And it was a pretty special process. First time we'd all been in one place to just soak in and record together. This album has a soul and a feel to it, I think, that is a little bit different than anything else that we've recorded. Maybe in part because we were in this little cabin up in the mountains recording. Maybe in part just because I was not trying so hard to get people to like me. We were just focused on trying to put down songs that we liked. Well, Heather, you are right. I would never forget Francis Hickey, but he was not playing with us yet in 2012. He came along a little bit afterwards, actually. He was, we actually, after Robin Vincent Soper, we had 2 other bassists before Poche came along. And Nelson Leong, and then Francis Hickey. But good spot, and I like that you're keeping me on my toes. Song. Woo! Let's see what happens. It's 3 days till we roll home the weekend. 3 days till it's on. 3 days till our coats like a demon. 3 days till I'm gone. Dun 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 dun. I was down, pushing back, feeling just like a pinball, out of control. But I got dreams, simple schemes. I'm gonna run like a gambler, hard on the road. Come on, it's 3 days till we roll on the weekend. Every clock is counting down. 3 days till I coast like a demon. 3 days till I'm fine. Ba-dum dum dum dum. Ba-dum dum dum dum. Fight all your might goes to holding the anvil off of your back. But ease your mind, in 3 days time you're gonna fire like a piston. Hold on the track, come on. It's 3 days till we roll on the weekend. 3 days till it's on. 3 days till I coast like a demon. 3 days till I'm gone. Come on. And it's 3 days till we roll on the weekend. Every clock is counting down. 3 days till I coast like a demon. 3 days till I'm found. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. I'm gone. So even that song, right? Which is a fun song, right? Peppy, fun song. It is definitely, right, closer to Americana and country than it is to pop, right? And we had just been in the studio working with this producer with, right, like multiple producers with incredible pop sensibilities, and they were pushing us in that direction, and of course, right, like of course I didn't want to say no to any of that. What an awesome thing, right, to get to work with talented producers, to have a team of people working with you who want you to be successful, especially during a time where we were going out. At that time, we were out every week. We would play anywhere we could play, right? A lot of bars, a lot of ski lodges, right? Just trying to scrape together money. We would tour. For years we would do this. We would tour, and I'd get a couple of rooms for the guys to stay in, and I would sleep in the back seat of the van, right? Like, I mean, we were living hand to mouth. I was still living in the basement. And to have an opportunity to work with people who said that you could achieve mainstream success, that's not something that I was ever going to pass up lightly. At the same time, I had all these songs that were nothing close to mainstream sounding, right? And I wanted an outlet for that, and so that was Daniel the Brave. That was this album, and it kind of gave. It was cool. It kind of gave me permission a little bit, right, to just release for the music and to not be thinking about whether or not people were gonna like us, record labels were gonna like us, or radio stations were gonna like us. In a lot of ways, one of the reasons I'm really excited about the stuff that we're doing in the studio these days is because I feel like in a sense, I've given myself that kind of permission again. Over the last couple years, we've made some big changes with the band, and now we're playing with this amazing quartet, right, with Karina, Poche, and Alex. And I just love our sound so much, and I love the songs, and I love the arrangements we're making right now. And in a lot of ways, they are further towards Americana and country and folk, right? They still got some rock in it, but they are further away from pop, right? And the further away from those sounds that we get, it kind of feels to me like, okay, well, I feel like it's time that I can really give myself permission to, let's just focus on the songs. Let's just make great songs. Let's make these songs sound like they can really, like I hear them in here, or I feel them in here, and not try to chase after a sound that is gonna make us more popular, right? And it's one of the reasons that I think it may be interesting once we begin to take you into the studio with us, and show you the process, because it won't be a bunch of, right, musicians that are trying to achieve some kind of a sound. It'll be a bunch of musicians that are trying to achieve some kind of connection through the sounds that we're making, right? Whoa, wait a second. Did I miss some stuff? What did I miss, guys? Did I not finish Ragtop Angel? That would be very much like me. I need data. Supergirl, let me know after this gathering is over, alright? We can always backtrack. Someone come, I think I might be dying. I cannot feel anything at all. I will not taste the colors of the beauty in the room. Won't even shed a happy tear before the fall. And I need someone to come on to my rescue. I need someone to help me walk the line. The rain ain't keep on falling through the backdrop of my baby, and this situation changes on a dime. Take me, the wind takes me on like a fire somewhere out there in the cold. Take me, and it takes me on. Will I never know? Will I never know? Will I never know? Let go. Cannot call the cops from Candy Mountain. You can't even get a decent cable feed. You can just make love and wander through the backwoods of a whisper that reminds you that you'll get the things you need. And I need someone to come on to my rescue. I need someone to help me know the score. Looking out on something that is eerily familiar, and I know I've never seen this place before. Take me, and it takes me like a fire somewhere out there in the cold. Take me, and it takes me on. Will I never know? Will I never know? Will I never know? Let go. And the green grass grow all around, and the green grass grows 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 all around. That was a song I don't think that's called Rescue. I don't know if I would ever have been able to release a song like that on an album that we were trying to achieve some kind of mainstream success on. but it's still. I feel like that was a song that really spoke directly to me, writing about my own kind of battles on my dark days, right? And 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 sometimes the idea that battling with those dark feelings, it's not, the hardest battle is not about dealing with the sadness, because sadness is kind of a pretty vivid emotion, right? Sometimes the scariest of the feelings is just not feeling a numbness, right? And that's a hard place to find yourself in. That's a hard place to find myself in sometimes. Just numb, right? That first line of that song. Someone call, I think I might be dying. I cannot feel anything at all. I will not taste the colors of the beauty in the room, won't even shed a happy tear before the fall. And I need someone to come on to my rescue, right? Yeah. But man, I love that song. And it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel, right? That chorus. Take me and it takes me on like a fire somewhere out there in the cold. Right? And you've been outside on a cold, snowy night. Right? And you see off in the distance, maybe you're out in the woods or the wilderness, or you see out in the different distance the warmth of through the window pane or a fire somewhere, right? Like, you know it's there. You're not feeling it. You're in the dark, but you know that it's there. And it's something to walk toward, right? And to trust that sooner or later, one foot in front of the other, you'll get there. Every time I sing that song, I'm reminded of that feeling, and not the numbness that was scaring me into writing that song. I really love the recording of that song. I recorded that guitar right, and then I remember a really great session with Tim, the producer, and Josh, who was not a producer himself at that point, but he was very much a producer on this album. He was helping with a lot of decisions, but I had Josh sit down on his piano, and he had this old vintage Rhodes, and I said, okay, I don't want you to play chords, and I don't want you to play patterns. I just want you to kind of play colors on this piano as the song is going. Just nothing patterned. It all has to be random. And he did a bunch of different takes, just listening. And then Tim and I sat down in the studio and we picked these really cool kind of random keyboard notes that were happening throughout there. And then there's this part. This wasn't part of the writing, but this just and after the song was recorded, I recorded that line afterwards, and doubled and tripled it with my voice, so it sounds like multiple voices humming, kind of like just a mantra, right? Just like this meditation, which is what, in essence, that song has become for me. So, anyways, I'm talking a lot tonight. Hope that's okay. nobody looking to achieve any sort of radio success or mainstream success would ever release a song called Desperate Plea from the Heart of a Shithead. But I wrote that song, and I love that song because it reminded me of a real experience in my life, and I wanted to record that song in a way that other people could hear it. And I don't know if we got to this song the other night when we were playing Daniel the Brave songs. I find myself lost for the first time. All of the moments I had to myself I now spent picturing you. When you listen to this, I'm going to start that over. But I remember when I brought this song to the band, telling them that this was not a song, this was a movie. That they had to create the scenes for a movie. And so the song, it's not like, if you listen to this recording, it's not like, oh, we're all just playing our instruments and we're playing along to this song. Like, there's one sound that is going to pop in to build the story in this direction, right? And then another sound to build it in this direction, and then it goes like this, and then it crumbles down to here, and then it builds up. And all of those sounds were prearranged in a creative session with the band, where we just kind of decided, okay, what's happening in this scene of the movie? And where are we taking it, and how are we building this story? And that was a really fun way to arrange, right? To arrange a recording with a band, right? Is to kind of feel like they are producing a movie, not a song, right? I found myself lost for the first time. All of the moments I had to myself are now spent picturing you. But I am not cross, and this ain't a goodbye. I am convinced that you one day will realize the pain that you're putting me through. Yeah, I worked on a farm, met a girl with a charm in a stable. We'd laugh all the time, drank all the cranberry wine in a fable. Her lips tasted sweet and I loved her as much as I was able. But I could not fall when I hate to recall how when I'd walk down the street, the sky would tuck itself around our heads, and all of the people we'd meet would come to life in the story we'd set. And I just don't know when this will happen again. If you are not set intractably forward with your cool boyfriend, your job and your home, it's a 5-hour trip if you fly. You can come live with me down here in the basement. It's cold in the winter, wet in the summer, but I know that we could get by. Yeah, I went into town, met a girl with a gown at a bar. She was smart, talked about art, drank her champagne and ate caviar. You made love in the back of her stretch Cadillac fancy car. But I could not fall when I had recalled how when you and I figured it out, time was just space for our breath. It would tangle and spiral and soar past the trees that all swayed round our heads. And I just don't know when this will happen again. If I could just say, I know I'm a shithead. I know it was me that took off and left you, but I was just anxious and dumb. I don't know what I've learned. I still march to a dyslexic drummer. Maybe I just needed some time to myself, write all the songs that I've sung. Yeah, I traveled throughout this whole world, lived without anything. I read newspapers, books, learned our heroes, crooks lose away. I even tried me some drugs, and I still ain't found love. Then again, I start to fall when I recall you and I standing alone, with the glowing sun closing its eyes as we'd melt into one in the dark and make our own mountains and skies. And my beat up guitar sounds like rain as it pours out the soul of the world, which is filled with regrets and mistakes, and the hearts of a fella and girl. And it all breathes in time, this song, in flashes of blistering red. It will find you wherever you are and wrap itself around both our heads. 'Cause I just don't know when this will happen again. Yeah. That was a fun one to record. I remember some of the conversations in the studio when we were working on that song. Right before the last verse, where I say, if I could just say I know I'm a shithead, right? There's that section. How when you and I figured it out, the time was just space for our breath. It would tangle and spiral and soar past the trees that all swayed round our heads. And I just don't know when this will happen again. Now the song's gotta kind of fall apart here, because I'm gonna break down and get as raw as I can and call myself a shithead, right? And so we pedaled on this chord, and I remembered talking to the band because they were playing in that last section, and we had to get all broken down to, if I could just say I know I'm a shithead, right? And so for a while, it was a really fun discussion, and we were trying to figure out how the band was gonna fall apart, right? Because I just don't know when this will happen again. And between here and the shithead line, the whole band has to fall apart. If I could just say. So, I can't, it's been so long since I even listened to the recording. I can't remember what we ended up doing. I mean, it was all subtle. I mean, these are, right, when you're arranging with musicians sometimes, and producers, right, you're having long conversations about really subtle things that really maybe nobody's ever going to consciously be aware of when they're listening to a track. But maybe if you're doing it right, subconsciously, they will be on the journey with you, right? They'll be watching the movie with you, and they'll be where you want them to be in terms of their experience, right? Kind of interesting. Okay, well, let's see. I'm gonna play one more song off of Daniel Brave, and then we'll finish up singing a song together tonight. This was a song. This was the first song I wrote, inspired by Allie and my falling in love with her. This was in the early days of our relationship. We've been together a really long time, not compared to a lot of you long-termers, but I mean, we've been together, I don't know, 12 years, something like that, a long time. And it did not start off in a traditional courtship. It started off with us being friends for a number of years, and then being more than friends for a number of years, and then being partners, you know. And it was slow, that process. It was slow and it was good. And so this was one of the songs that I was writing just as things were feeling right and good. Some people bite into the sun like a peach. Others maintain that it's well out of reach. Some use the sunshine to sell lemonade. Me, I'd rather just hang in the shade, looking out on a dandelion sun. So get down to the last drops done. You and me, easy down right. You and me, easy down right. You and me, easy down right. Well, some people, they stick to the road like it's king. Others stay home, don't know where to begin. Some use a map to track the progress they've made. Me, I'd rather just hang out between the shade, looking out on a dandelion sun. So get down till the last drop is done. You and me, easy down right. You and me, easy down right. You and me, easy down right. Some do not care long as they get paid. Me, I'd rather just hang out in the shade, looking out on a dandelion sun, soaking down till the last drop's done. When me easy down right, when me easy down right, you will make easy down right, yeah, yeah. Raise up your glass, let us drink to the wind at our back. May it always blow steady wherever you roam. May it turn when you're ready to carry you home. May it keep you ahead of the rain. Raise up your glasses, let us drink to the heavens above. Some say it's a glimpse of God's great design. Some say it's the science of all things combined. May we look up and always feel wonder. Here is to us, and all that we see. Here's to our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to around in good company. Here's to the drink that we share. Raise up your glasses, let us drink to this time that we have. But these moments pass lightly, won't come again. May our lives all burn brightly right up to the end. May we live them with joyous abandon. Raise up your glasses, let us drink to the end of the day. Let us drink to the work when the working is through. Let us drink one of me, let us drink one of you. Let us drink one of those who are with us. Here is to us, and all that we see. Here's to our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to around in good company. Here's to the future, here's to the past. Let us drink one by soul, let us drink one down fast. Let us drink one as if this night is our last. Here's to the drink that we share. Oh, here's to the drink that we share. Thank you all for just being so good to one another. It's nice to get to see it, even in passing as I'm playing, and it's nice to have you keeping me company on the happy nights and then on the sad nights and all of the nights that we all have. Thank you to my amazing team of volunteers at Rally Sound. You know, I've got this crew right now that is taking turns every night representing Rally Sound in the Adam Ezra group on our chat board, and it just means so much to me to have them, to have so many good people helping me out. Please stay safe. Keep on looking out for one another. And I'm looking forward to hanging with you again tomorrow.